Hey everyone, hope you're having a great week. We're back for a second NRL preview. Even though there's only 5 games this weekend, gonna run through the try scorer trends and predictions of who's going to score tries in the upcoming games this weekend. I wanted to get this video out before the Dolphins Rabbitohs game last night, but just with a lot going on this week and super busy with the MLB and horse racing as well, wasn't able to do that. But I want to cover the other 4 games coming up this weekend. And also the principles that you're going to learn in this video also apply next weekend, the week after that, for the rest of the season and on into next year as well. This is part of the process that I do every single week. And when I mentioned this to a few people on Instagram during the week, and I also mentioned it in the YouTube video earlier this week when I previewed the betting odds, etc. for these games. There are a few comments on there asking for this video. So I'm going to do it. If you guys enjoy it, let me know, and I can make this part of the regular videos on this channel every single week. So there's 2 main tools that I use when analyzing try scorers for NRL games. And this is the first one that you're looking at right here. And it's every player coming into this matchup who's been named in the starting 17, if they've scored tries throughout the season and which rounds, what their averages are, etc. We'll come back to this in a second. And then the other tool is looking at where teams score their tries and where their tries are conceded and where tries are scored by the opposition against them. And we're looking for specific situations that match up as real positive. So I'm going through each game looking for positive situations. And just to quickly, as I said, we've already played the Rabbitohs Dolphins game last night, and the top 2 players on here, Bostock and Gagai, both scored. Bostock scored the opening try, and then Gagai scored a hat-trick last night in that matchup. So I will run through the Sharks-Tigers game first. Here you can see the player who averages the most tries is Sione Katoa, who didn't play last week and is back in the lineup this week, and he has scored a try in his past 4 games. But before we even look at this stuff, like this isn't the first thing I look at. I go to the other tool in the bet finders, which is the try scored by position, and I'm looking for situations that match up really, really well. So first thing we want to do is go through and look at where the Sharks' strengths are, where they're scoring the tries. So we're going through looking. Clearly, you can see straight away Sharks only have scored 4 tries from fullbacks this season. 10 tries on the left wing, 2 tries from the left center. That puts them 11th in the left edge rankings from tries from the left-hand side. And they're 8th in the right edge rankings with 3 tries in the center and 5th ranking with 12 tries from the right winger. So right there, Sharks ranked in the top 5 for tries for the right winger. That's obviously a key factor. And they're going up against the Tigers. So if we look down to the bottom half of this table, opponent right wingers, you can see Tigers ranked 16th and conceded 13 tries to the right winger. So straight away, that's the first positive situation. Sharks right wing looks like a positive situation here. And then as we keep going through, Sharks are ranked 4th in the halves, and Tigers give up the most tries to opponent halves. So Sharks halves pairings, we're going to look at those players. Sharks are the #1 front row tries scored. Tigers ranked midfield there, so that's not as strong of a category. And I try and stay away from, majority of the time forwards and those kind of position players, because they do spend a lot of, about around half the game, or at least 20 to 30 minutes on the bench every single matchup. So it's not as ideal to be betting into those ones unless you can find a really, really good spot. This one obviously isn't that great. And then second row Sharks, no real there. Sharks score the 3rd most tries from the interchange, and the Tigers concede the 2nd most from interchange players. However, similar boat to the forwards, is not as an ideal situation. So for the most part, I'm focusing on edge players and in the halves and fullback. Because overall part of my strategy is I'm not just looking for value plays where I can get a big return, because obviously you're going to get better odds for forwards. However, I'm looking for bets that are going to win more consistently at a higher strike rate, so I'm constantly turning over profits. And so for this matchup for the Sharks, their positive situations are the right wing. So then if we come over to the team lineups and we're looking for the right wing, so Sione Katoa is the right winger for the Sharks. And then if we come back to the try scoring trends, he's ranked #1 and has scored a try in 4 his past 4 games. So this looks a really good situation for him. And then the next situation, the halves. So for the halves, we bring up the lineups. We have Dan Atkinson and Braden Trindle. Then we come back over here. Braden Trindle ranked 3rd here. He scored a try in his past 2 games. So this is probably my second best try scorer bet in this matchup. Atkinson's only played a few games so far this season. He scored 2 tries. He played on the wing in this matchup and then in the halves back in round 13, but only averaging 0.2 tries overall from his games so far this season. So not as ideal. So I probably wouldn't get involved in him. And then if we come back over, looking for the Tigers' best situations, front row, where they score the 4th most tries and the Sharks concede 13th most. But once again, we'll stay away from that one. And then Tigers' other good situation is left center. You'll notice, for example, left wing, they're ranked last, left center 3rd, and then on the right-hand side, ranked last in right center and 2nd last in right winger. So this is really the only position in their backline where they score tries other than fullback, but the Sharks don't give up tries to the fullback. So I guess after explaining this game, you guys kind of see the pattern of what I'm doing here, and these tools make it super, super easy for you to go through and analyze this. This is just part of the tools in the NRL bet finders. And then if we come back over, so we're going to bring up the lineup. Patape is playing left center for the Tigers in the game tonight. If we look at his trends, see how often he's scored tries this season, when we spot his name. So he's played in the past 4 games, but yet to score a try. So hardly an ideal situation. So based off of this, Katoa and Trindle are the 2 players that are the most likely try scorers in this game. You might be looking at this as well. And so you see Mulatalo in 2nd position. A lot of his tries came in the opening 7 rounds. Since then, he's only scored 2 tries through his last 10 games. So touch out of form. If it was a really good situation where the Tigers concede a lot of tries to the left winger, then that would be ideal, but they're not really that poor. So it's not like an ideal situation, and kind of similar for the Sharks left center. Sharks only scored 2 tries in that position, and the Tigers have only conceded 2 tries in that position. So not an ideal situation for Kyle Iro either. So that's the opening game. Next game, if we scroll on down to Titans versus the Eels. This is the game with the highest total points line of the round, so expect it to be the highest scoring game. The Eels defensively concede a lot of tries out wide. You'll notice there, the worst left edge defense conceded 10 more tries than the next best team, and then the equal worst with the Warriors right edge defense. That means we just need to look for where the Titans score their tries out on the edges, and we'll find the best betting opportunity there. So we come up the top left-hand side. Titans are the worst left edge. So they're not really primed to capitalize on the Eels' worst left edge defense being the worst left edge attack, which means it's a little bit tricky and not as valuable to get involved in this situation. However, on the right edge, you'll notice Titans have scored the most tries for the right winger with Cam Pereira, and the Eels don't concede as many tries to the right winger, but they do with the right center. So they do concede tries, and I suspect that's where the Titans are going to be targeting to win this game. So it's very, very likely Cam Pereira scores a try. If we look at his overall rankings, he's scored 14 tries overall this season. Through his last, if we look here, 9 games, he's only not scored a try in 2 of them. So in really, really good form and should get plenty of opportunities in this matchup. You'll notice here, this is the total tries on the season. Not many players have scored over 4 tries for their team this year. Blaise Tulagi is the only other player who has done so. Bring up the lineups. He'll be playing a left center here for the Eels. We have a look to see how the Titans defend that area. They are ranked 14th, so it's not a bad situation for him to score a try as well in this game, but it's probably like the next best option. But definitely confident with Cam Pereira. The other situation that's probably best for the Eels is them scoring a try in their halves. They're the 5th ranked halves try scoring pair With Moses out for Origin, he's replaced in the halves. Dylan Brown, the other player in that combination, he scored 4 tries overall on the season. Not super consistent, averages 0.3 of tries per game. A little bit of a tricky situation, but probably the best one there for the Eels, aside from Tulagi. Next game, Broncos versus Dragons. Mariner is the highest try scorer here with 14 tries. He scored 4 tries in his past 3 games and been very consistent, scoring 1+ try in 71% of games and 2+ in 29% of games. Now coming back over here to look at where teams concede their tries. The Dragons defensively have an okay left edge and an okay right edge. They've conceded 12 tries either side of the field, so no real strength or weakness either way. However, then we come back up to the Broncos. You'll notice they've scored the most tries through the left winger, and left center, they've also scored, they're ranked 8th, making them the number 2 ranked left edge attack overall, and they're ranked 14th on the right edge. So Broncos really pushing their plays towards the left edge, and the other position scoring a lot of tries is the fullback, and the Dragons do concede a high number of tries to fullbacks. So for the Broncos, kind of the best 2 situations here are left wing, left center, and fullback. Bring up this, so we got Tristan Saylor with Walsh out Origin playing fullback, and then on the left-hand side, Jesse Arthurs is named for the wing this week, and Mariner moves into the centers. Those are definitely the 3 most likely try scorers in this game based off this information. Broncos also do score a number of tries through the halves most of the time. That is through Ezra Mam, who has scored 7 tries himself this season, and the Dragons do concede a high number of tries to opponent halves. So he's probably the 4th best option in this game. And then from the Dragons' perspective, looking to see where they're ranked the highest. So fullback ranks 6th overall, but Broncos are the 2nd best team at not conceding tries to fullbacks. And then as we look through, Dragons rated lowly on the left-hand side, fairly low on the right-hand side. They don't score tries through the center, but they can score it through the right winger. For this game, Tui Peluto is playing right winger. And overall, this season, he didn't play the early part of the season since transferring, and he scored a try in the past 2 games. So in okay form, he's another good option for this matchup. And that's pretty much it for the Broncos Dragons game. And at the end of this video, I'll go through and bring up the odds for each of these players that I am mentioning. And then final game of the round, we have Manly Seagulls taking on the Newcastle Knights. For the Seagulls, where their strengths are going to be, firstly, left edge. They're the 6th ranked left edge, particularly in the left center, ranked 2nd overall, scoring 8 tries through that position. Left center for the Sea Eagles is being played by Ruben Garrick this week, and Hapawati out on the wing. Bring back up the Ruben Garrick is currently averaging half a try a game. He hasn't scored a try in the past 4 games, so slightly out of form. He had a good run during the mid part of the season there. And then out on the wing, Hapawati has only scored the 1 try. So they're not really capitalizing on it out there with the current players, but potentially Garrick to score a try in this matchup. The Knights ranked midfield in tries to the opponent left center. So that's not a super ideal situation. Probably not my favorite. I do prefer the right edge here for the Sea Eagles. They're ranked 6th as well on this hand side, ranked 3rd in right center and 8th in right winger. And they have Talau and Saab over on their right wing, who are the 2 leading try scorers so far this season for the Sea Eagles. Talau hasn't scored a try in his past 3 games, and Saab's coming off a hat-trick, so it's very likely one of those 2 players scores a try. And I particularly like Saab in this matchup with the Knights conceding more tries to the winger than they are to the right center. And Seagulls' second row is the other okay situation. They're ranked 7th overall, Knights conceding a midfield here. So there's no major weaknesses with Knights, but they do concede tries around the park. And this is where you can kind of see, you want to look for situations that really stand out. Like we kind of saw in the Sharks-Tigers game where you got a top side against a bottom side, and also in the Titans-Eels game where you got a top side in a certain position going up against one of the worst defensive side for that position. But that's why, like this weekend, there's only 5 games. But when there's a full round of 8 games on, you can really find some good spots. The Seagulls second row though, Olakwatu, Lawton, and Brown are playing second row for the Seagulls this week. Olakwatu has scored 4 tries, overall on the season, but only scored 1 try in his past 6 games. And then Lawton and Brown both haven't scored a try this season, so hard to see them fully taking advantage of it. From a Newcastle try scorer perspective, I'll be looking towards their left edge. They're ranked 8th overall, and the Seagulls are ranked 13th defensively on that side. Knights are using a first gamer on their left edge if we bring up Thomas Kant. So Greg Marzu is probably the best player to target in that position. And the Seagulls do struggle to contain the left winger. So he's probably the best option. Marzu has scored 5 tries and scored 3 tries in his past 2 games. So has been getting across the line recently. So those are the best situations so far for this weekend. If we bring up the betting odds for these games, the ones that really stand out to me that are probably definitely worth betting into is Sione Katoa against the Tigers. Then $3 for Braden Trindle is definitely a good option as well. Cam Pereira, very good option in that game. Like Mariner, especially in the Broncos-Dragons game. Tuipulotu is another okay option, especially at above even money. And then Saab and Talau, I definitely play both of those in the Seagulls and Knights game, especially with those issues with the Knights defense going to be on that side of the field as they are without a number of key players. Hopefully this video gave you some insight into how you can go through and analyze try scorer trends and where those tries are coming. I have some new tools coming out into the NRL bet finders over the coming weeks to make your research process easier and easier, so you can break this down, do that research, and make sure you're putting on really, really good bets. If you watched the full round preview earlier in the week, you would have seen last night we hit the plays in the Rabbitohs Dolphins game, either side to win in the try bet, and then also the game going over the total points line, being very, very high scoring. On to tonight now with the Sharks Tigers game. Make sure if you want the plays for that and for the rest of the round, and also the other sports, we're having a very, very good week right now in the MLB as well. And AFL starts tonight. You can get that with the All Sports Bet Finders, which includes all my bets. And also tomorrow coming up, we have a full card of Saturday racing. So I'm about to post all the plays there in the members area for Saturday racing. I'll put the links to those in the description. Also this week, I have the Bank Builder package on half price sale. So this program is normally $19.97. Right now you can save $1,000 on that program, get access to all my bets for the upcoming 3 months, plus all the training on how you can find those bets for yourself. Because what I see, this is literally what happens time and time again, is people come in, they join the tipping services, they follow the bets that I'm putting on, and it gets them results. You can go on the website, look back through all the results for a number of years and see how many units that we're really making. Like, for example, in the horse racing last year, we made over 600 units. Now, what happens there is when people are following those selections, they're seeing the results coming in. They're seeing 10 to 12 units on average come in every single week. And if they were just following those selections, then that's totally fine. And there's a lot of people who just do that. They just put those bets on and that's all they do. But then there's another group of people who like to put their own bets on, like to, look through, find bets, put them on for themselves. And what happens is when they're doing that, my bets that they're following from me are hiding the results they're getting from their bets. And for example, in a week where, we might break even, or we might only make, 2 or 3 units that week, or we might drop 2 or 3 units, which obviously happens, then it really exposes what they've been doing with their bets, and they can no longer hide behind the overall results from the packages that they're a part of. So if you're somebody who can just come in, follow all the bets, and not do anything else, then the services for racing and sports definitely going to help you build up your bankroll and make more money every single week. However, if you want to put your own bets on, if you want to, research, the bank builder will definitely help you do that. The goal of it, and everyone a part of it, I'm committing to helping you make $10,000 from your betting accounts, and I want that to happen within this financial year for you, and show you the skills to be able to scale that up to 20,000, 30,000 and beyond if that's something that you want to do. So definitely check it out. It's on half price until Sunday night. There's also a payment plan on there as well for you to join up as part of that. And as I said, you get all the training and all my bets for the next 3 months included as part of that program. So it'll be awesome to have you in there. Hopefully this video gave you some insight. Let me know in the comments if this is something you want to see every single week. And I'll also be bringing it in with the new tools as well to add to this analysis even further. So hope you guys have a great weekend. And just to quickly recap with the bank builder, I'll put the link in the description so you can get access to it, and you get all my bets plus all the training, all the courses on everything you need to know to make $10,000 or more betting on your favorite sports. Make sure you get your account set up before the discount expires on Sunday night. Can't wait to have you inside, help you build this up to $10,000 or more from your betting.